I'm Adrian Seet, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Political stability, transparent policies draw foreign investors to Malaysia, says Prime Minister. And Fat Lina warns against sexual harassment in schools. Thanks for joining us. The Education Minister, Fat Lina, has warned teachers and school staff against sexual harassment, saying those who do will be sacked. She expressed concern over the rising trend of sexual harassment against children, adding that her ministry is committed in ensuring that schools are safe for all students.
Ini semua untuk semua. Maknanya kita nak sebut mesej kita cukup jelas dan tegas. You touch, you go. Tak kira lah. Maknanya kadang-kadang anak murid ini bukannya dia diganggu di sekolah, dia diganggu di rumah. Tapi datang ke sekolah dan mengalami simptom kemurungan dan sebagainya. Sebab itu kita tegaskan you touch, you go tu maksudnya adalah untuk mereka yang menjadi ataupun yang melakukan keganasan ataupun kesalahan berjenayah seksual ni. So you touch, you go, masuk jail.
Fat Lina said this to the media at the Convention of the Protection of Students from Sexual Exploitation in Shah Alam on Saturday. She said the ministry was facing an uphill challenge dealing with such cases, stressing the need to protect not only girls, but also boys against sexual predators. She pointed out that during her days as an activist, she had also encountered incidences of sexual harassment involving male students. However, it was not reported by the victims, as they had been told to protect the honour of their teachers. Fat Lina also said, as a commitment to the cause, the ministry had launched a safe school program. This initiative aims to establish a learning environment free from sexual harassment through the introduction of specific guidelines, apart from increasing the number of counselling teachers in each school to deal with cases of sexual harassment. Also in attendance at the convention were the Prime Minister's wife, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail, and Selangor Menteri Besar, Datuk Sri Amiruddin Shari. Meanwhile, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, who is also in attendance at the convention, said her ministry was working with the Education Ministry to raise awareness on the law and the sexual exploitation of children. According to Azalina, one challenge in combating sexual crimes against children was underreporting. Therefore, the minister cautioned teachers that concealing or failing to report such cases would result in action being taken against them under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act.
Tindakan
Section 19.
Saya nanti lah. Kalau you know, you don't report, you will be charged.
Yes.
And we will go after you for not reporting. We will go after you. So better you report lah. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the law says you wajib must report.
Yes.
Under Section 19 of the Act, anyone who is aware of sexual abuse against children but fails to report the matter to the police can be charged in court and, if convicted, fined up to 5,000 ringgit. Azalina further stated that the law would also protect informants, adding that teachers should work with the ministries and the authorities to protect children. Malaysia has generated new investment interest with a potential value of 45.4 billion ringgit following Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's visit to Germany. He said investors from Germany and other European countries have confidence in Malaysia due to its political stability, clear policies and the efficiency of the government machinery in the project approval process.
According to Anwar, Malaysia's pragmatic foreign policy, including good relations with the United States, Europe, China, Japan and South Korea, also helped in attracting investments. He added that his meeting with nearly 40 captains of industry from Germany, Belgium, France and the Netherlands also resulted in them committing to either making new investments or expanding their investments in Malaysia. Among the top companies that he met during the visit were ex-Fab Silicon Foundries, Melexis, Infineon Technology, Shat AG, Siemens Energy, Nexperia and Airbus.
Infineon yang kita tahu telah setuju untuk meneruskan dan memulakan pelaburan sebanyak 5 bilion euro ke Malaysia, Siemens dan puluhan yang lain besar Dan saya dapat juga peluang untuk bertemu satu persatu dengan beberapa yang tertentu, umpamanya ex-FAB yang akan melabur besar di Sarawak, dan kita berikan jaminan kerjasama dan apa-apa ruang untuk mempercepatkan proses.
Anwar, who is also the finance minister, told this to the Malaysian media at the end of his 6-day official visit to Berlin and Hamburg on Saturday. He also said that projects under ex-FAB Malaysia's Shad Glass, which were approved in 2023 with a total investment value of 4.45 billion ringgit, are expected to generate some 1,000 job opportunities. Malaysia also successfully secured an additional 1.4 billion ringgit in potential sales of the country's export of products and services to Germany in the aerospace sector over the next 5 years. Anwar also highlighted that international media coverage, such as the Financial Times and the New York Times, which consider Malaysia a global center in electronics and semiconductors development, also assisted in the country's efforts to attract foreign investment. Presently, there are over 700 German companies based in Malaysia with nearly 70.24 billion ringgit in investment.
Meanwhile, on the European Union deforestation regulation, which affects palm oil exports into Europe, Anwar said European criticisms of deforestation is off the mark. He added that Malaysia's position with the EU has become more positive after he provided explanations about the latest developments to the EU representatives.
Pandangan dan kritikan Eropah kadang-kadang sudah meleset dah lama. Dia tak dapat ikuti perkembangan mutakhir. Kalau tidak ada penebangan hutan meluas seperti mana pernah berlaku dulu, dan kawasan-kawasan dianggap kawasan gambut itu yang menyebabkan emission karbon yang paling tinggi, yang dulunya menjadi di antara tapak kelapa sawit, sudah dihentikan bertahun-tahun. Jadi kalau kita bagi perkembangan mutakhir, jadi mungkin sikap mereka itu lebih positif.
Now, at the same press conference, the Prime Minister said a government will scrutinize the details and obtain views of all parties before making a final decision on the offer to host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. Anwar said he had requested information on the matter from Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh and the National Sports Council and other relevant parties.
Di samping itu kita kena lihat juga tentang sukan Commonwealth itu sendiri, ya. Apakah signifikannya dan berapa belanja yang diperlukan, walaupun ada ratusan juta yang disediakan oleh Commonwealth. Tapi kalau kita kena belanja sampai berbilion ringgit lagi, itu mungkin keupayaan kita terbatas.
Anwar also said he had asked the Cabinet to discuss the offer at its meeting on Friday, and a decision on it is expected to be made next week. Previously, the Commonwealth Games Federation, CGF, offered Malaysia the opportunity to host the Games with a proposed injection of 602 million ringgit, replacing Victoria, Australia, which withdrew last year. Victoria pulled out due to an increase in hosting costs from the initial expectation of 8.09 billion ringgit to 21.78 billion ringgit. Police have recorded statements from 5 individuals to assist in the investigation into the case of 12-year-old Siti Dia Batrisya Muhammad Chairi Anwar, who was reported missing in Kuala Lumpur since Tuesday. Dang Wangi District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Nur Delan Yahya said that all the individuals called were family members or friends of the missing girl.
Kita sedang mengesan, tetapi ada beberapa petunjuk lah yang positif. Itu je yang saya boleh cakap sekarang.
Previously, Siti Dia's mother believed that her daughter had left the house in Pudu due to a disagreement. 41-year-old Sharifah Rosfazila Said Muhammad Fazili said that the last time she was with her daughter was about 4 p.m. on Tuesday at their home. Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) will engage with Google over the latter's inaccurate data of the ringgit exchange rate against the US dollar on Friday. The central bank said the exchange rate of 4 ringgit 98 cent to $1 US, as quoted by Google, does not reflect the actual trading. In a statement on Saturday, BNM said that as of March 15th, the ringgit traded at 4 ringgit and 70 cent to the US dollar, while in the past 2 weeks, the ringgit has strengthened by 0.76% against the US dollar. It also pointed out that this was the second time the tech giant's data on the ringgit exchange rate was inaccurate. The central bank said it had already issued a stern warning letter to Google after the first incident of misreporting on February the 6th. BNM added that it will be engaging Google for an explanation of how the inaccurate reporting occurred and the corrective measures taken, given that this is a recurring issue that has afflicted Malaysia and other countries in the past few months. The central bank also stressed that the exchange rate is a market-sensitive data and any inaccurate reporting as well as circulation of unverified data can cause serious implications on financial markets. The public were also reminded to rely on official data, including from BNM, and to exercise caution in using, circulating or speculating on unverified sources as a reference for the ringgit. South Korea's senior doctors to resign in support of juniors. News from the front after this breather.
Mira tak ada idea lah nak masak apa untuk berbuka ni.
Lah, janganlah stres-stres. P3 ada banyak resipi-resipi yang mak-mak, akak-akak boleh cuba tau.
Lepas tu apa kata Morin sambil tengok sembang sahur.
Tapi yang bestnya, Mira seronok dia tengok dia bangun sahur ni.
Buffet dekat sini memang sangat-sangat meriah.
Dah siap Rabu Temikai Tok Mina.
Boleh cuba resepi asam pedas Syihan.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Kau pilih perempuan tu daripada syurga yang lahirkan kau ni ke, Meh?
Tak sekali satunya, Mak. Berhenti atur hidup Amir, boleh tak?
Nina tolak pinangan tu.
Apa yang kau cakap dekat dia sampai dia tolak pinangan aku?
Aku tak izinkan dan aku tak setuju Amir buat macam tu. Aku sumpah keturunan kau takkan selamat.
Tergamak kau buat aku macam ni, kan?
Selama ni aku cintakan Abang Amir. Bukan kau.
Dah lah, Syam. Kau dah kalah dah pun.
Rindu Kasih musim kedua, episod akhir, Isnin 10 malam di Samarinda TV3.
Dozens of Palestinians were killed on Saturday following a number of overnight Zionist strikes targeting the Nuseirat refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip as well as Gaza City and Rafah near the border with Egypt. The worst hit location was Nuseirat, where the regime targeted 2 family homes, killing at least 36 people. According to the government media office in Gaza, most people killed in the attack were children, and pregnant women were also amongst the dead. Also on Saturday, a U.S. charity said that its team in devastated Gaza had finished unloading the first maritime aid shipment to reach the enclave. The group is preparing a second boat of 240 tons of food to set sail from Cyprus, the starting point of a new maritime aid route across the eastern Mediterranean. Japan has also said it will join a project to deliver humanitarian supplies to Gaza via a Mediterranean maritime corridor that was launched this week by Cyprus, the European Union, the United States, and the United Arab Emirates. Efforts towards a truce in the Israel-Palestine war continued on Saturday after a new proposal from Hamas, who also called for more aid into Gaza where famine threatens, and the first food shipment by sea was unloaded. In negotiations aimed at securing a truce and hostage deal, Hamas on Thursday put forward a new proposal for a 6-week ceasefire and the exchange of about 42 Israeli hostages for a larger number of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. It was understood that Israel would send a delegation to Qatar for another round of talks on a possible deal. It also advanced plans for a military operation in Rafah, where most of Gaza's population has sought refuge from more than 5 months of war and deprivation. A group of South Korean senior doctors on Saturday said they would resign in support of junior medics in a nearly month-long strike over government training reforms that has plunged hospitals into chaos. According to the head of the group, Bang Jae-seung, representatives of medical professors at 20 universities held a meeting late Friday, with those at 16 institutions overwhelmingly in favor of supporting their junior colleagues. Bang said that professors at each university have decided to voluntarily submit resignation papers starting on March 25th, adding that the doctors cannot agree to an increase of 2,000 more students under any circumstances. Bang, however, did not disclose the exact number of professors expected to walk off the job. Thousands of trainee doctors stopped working on February 20th to protest government reforms aimed at easing doctor shortages by increasing the number of medical students that the medics claim is the final straw for overworked and underpaid early career professionals. India's 2024 Lok Sabha election process was set rolling on Saturday, with the Election Commission announcing the dates for polls, setting the stage for the world's biggest election. Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar announced that the polls are expected to be held from April the 19th in 7 phases across the country, with results to be announced on June the 4th. According to the Election Commission, the first phase will be held April 19th, the second phase on April 26th, third phase on May 7th, fourth phase on May 13th, fifth phase on May 2nd, sixth phase on May 25th, and the seventh and the last phase on June the 1st. With some 968 million eligible voters, India's election will be the largest the world has seen. Opinion polls predict a win for Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party (BPJ) and its allies that is eyeing a record third term in power. However, more than 24 opposition parties, including the Congress, have formed a coalition bloc called the Indian National Development Inclusive Alliance, or India, to take on BJP at this election. Aaron Wiyik, only Malaysians left standing. Sports after this breather.
Assalamualaikum. Saya anak awak. Bila Kiara tiba-tiba muncul, terus berubah 360 darjah hidup Dr. Suhail.
Ni, Anak buah.
Oh, anak along kau.
Yes. Awak dia banyak cakap, awak tahu tak? Sama macam
siapa?
Saksikan minisiri Hello, Saya Anak Uncle. Mulai 17 Mac setiap Ahad 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Korang baru balik dari bazar kan? Apa lagi? Jomlah tonton drama-drama terbaik Ramadan minggu ini di TV3.
Awak sepatutnya tanya balik dengan diri awak apa yang tak kena dengan awak.
Sebab di mata abang, saya tak pernah sempurna.
Assalamualaikum.
awak salah rumah kot.
Saya anak awak.
Oh, dia takut tadi.
Hai, bukan dia cakap tadi. Gila, membuat saya tergila-gila.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Seorang penuntut kolej ditahan bagi membantu siasatan kes pembunuhan bekas demam wanitanya di Negeri Sembilan Khamis lalu.
Perkara ini adalah satu yang tidak berperi kemanusiaan langsung.
Apa pasal kena bunuh? Memang terkilanglah.
Semasa ditemui, mangsa terbaring di kaki 5 jalan.
On to sports, badminton, the 2024 All England Open Championships. Men's doubles shuttlers Aaron Chia So Wee Yik smashed into the semi-finals, but it was the end of the road for professional singles player Lee Zijia. World number 5 Aaron Wee Yik were in top form as they swept aside Indonesia's 2022 champions, and world number 9 Shohibul Fikri Bagas Maulana 21-14, 21-11 in just 31 minutes at the Utilita Arena in Birmingham. The emphatic victory extended Aaron Wee Yik's unbeaten record over the Indonesians in 5 matches. The pair will next play Taiwan's in-form duo Li Jihui, Yang Po Swan, who captured the German Open title and finished runners-up at the French Open in the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Zijia could not make it a double joy for Malaysia when he went down fighting 22-20, 16-21, 19-21 to India's 2022 Commonwealth Games gold medalist Lakshya Sen in a nail-biting 71-minute match. Zijia fought back from 15-19 down in the third game to level the scores at 19-all, but the Indians stayed composed to snatch the final 2 points for the win. It was the world number 10's 4th defeat, Lakshya, in 5 meetings. On to tennis, the 2024 Indian Wells Open. Maria Sakkari beat US Open champion Coco Gauff in a rain-hit match to set up a final against world number 1 Iga Swiatek. Greece's Sakkari let a 5-2 second set lead slip, but regrouped to beat a third seed Gauff 6-4, 6-7, 5-7, 6-2. Rain held out play in California in the middle of the first set and again at the start of the second, but 9th seed Sakkari was the one who prevailed in the late-night thriller. Earlier, Poland's Swiatek needed just 65 minutes to beat Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk 6-2, 6-1. Sunday's final will be a rematch of the 2022 showpiece, which Swiatek won in straight sets. Swiatek is bidding for her 2nd title of the year after winning the Qatar Open, while Sakkari is aiming for her 1st. When Nightline returns, 2 killed in head-on collision in Batu Pahat. Stay with us.
Korang baru balik dari bazar kan? Apa lagi? Jomlah tonton drama-drama terbaik Ramadan minggu ini di TV3.
Imi, tipu aku.
Thank you so much, sayang.
Welcome.
Dia nak nikah perempuan tu?
Tada, kenapa senyum macam orang gila ni? Sakit ke?
Gila tak sakit?
Calon.
Calon apa?
Cuma bukan nak rampas dia daripada Mami pun.
Takut kena racun lah dalam mi goreng tu.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Dia tak boleh duduk KL. Everything dah hancur. You better handle your daughter. I'm done.
I didn't change because of him.
Then?
Because of Allah.
You memang baru jumpa saya sekali je tau. Dia belum tahu lagi apa ada dalam hati saya.
Make a police report. At least dia takut nak buat macam ni lagi kat you.
Tapi saya tak sanggup nak tengok dia macam tu, Tuan.
Pasal lelaki boleh jadi koyak macam ni.
I just want to be with you.
Lelaki itu mulai 19 Mac, Isnin hingga Jumaat 10 malam. Terbaru di Samarinda TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. In Johor, 2 drivers were killed after their vehicles were involved in a head-on collision at Jalan Johor Baru Melaka near Tanjung Labuh on Saturday. Batu Pahat District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Ismail Dollah said the fatal accident involved 2 Perodua Myvi cars and took place at 11:40 p.m. Now, the crash occurred when one of the vehicles driven by a woman 43-year-old Chin Sui Mei from Renggit towards Batu Pahat collided with the other car, driven by 22-year-old Muhammad Arif Azim Ahmad, that veered into her path from the opposite lane. The impact of the collision also caused one of the Myvi cars to turn turtle. The 2 victims, both from Batu Pahat, suffered serious injuries and were pronounced dead at the scene. A team of 8 firefighters were dispatched to the location and had to use special rescue tools to extricate the victims who were pinned to their seats. Both bodies were then handed over to the police for further action. The cause of the crash is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. In Selangor, a 14-year-old girl lost her parents instantly after being the sole survivor rescued by the Fire and Rescue Department, JBPM, in a 2-storey house fire in Damansara Utama, Petaling Jaya, early Saturday morning. State JBPM Assistant Director of Operations Ahmad Muklis Mokhtar said the victims who died in the fire were identified as 61-year-old Kang Si Yam and his wife, 55-year-old Leong Chen Mun. The JBPM received an emergency call regarding the fire at the residence at 5:13 a.m. and a total of 4 fire engines with 10 firefighters from the Damansara and Petaling Jaya fire stations were dispatched to the scene. The fire, which was found to have occurred in the main bedroom on the upper floor of the residence and the kitchen area on the ground floor, destroyed about 70% of the house. The bodies of both victims who perished in the incident have been sent to a nearby hospital for post-mortem. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Meanwhile, the surviving daughter, Amanda Kang Wayan, has been placed in an induced coma to prevent her health from deteriorating at the Sungai Buloh Hospital's emergency ward. Petaling Jaya Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Sharul Nizam Jaafar alias Ismail said that the victim was in critical condition upon arriving at the hospital after having inhaled a significant amount of smoke during the fire. He also said that her parents' cause of death was due to smoke inhalation. In Terengganu, an elephant that was struck by a luxury SUV on Friday night was captured near Kampung Telaga Papan Setiu on Saturday afternoon. State Wildlife and National Parks Department Perhilitan Director Lu Kian Seong said the female elephant was located around 11:30 a.m., approximately 15 kilometers from the accident site. According to Lu, the elephant, weighing about 2 tons and aged between 15 and 20 years old, was captured in an oil palm plantation by the Perhilitan team after more than 3 hours of searching that began at 8 a.m. Upon inspection, the elephant had external injuries due to the road accident. The wild animal is currently undergoing further evaluation from the Veterinary Services Department. The elephant will then be relocated either in Girik, Perak or Hulu Terengganu, away from human settlements. It was understood that the elephant had been under the observation of State Perhilitan for the past few days, after it was spotted wandering around Setiu and was in the process of being caught and relocated. Previously, it was reported that a Porsche Cayenne had crashed into a stray elephant in the middle of the road in Kampung Kolam Setiu at about 10 p.m. on Friday. The driver escaped unhurt. However, the vehicle's windscreen, bumpers and lights were damaged in the incident, along with dents in the bonnet and fenders. The elephant was believed to have been injured in the leg and fell at the scene before fleeing into the nearby forest about 10 minutes later. More than 4 decades, New York City's Whitney Museum of American Art has showcased the works of the nation's top artists in a recurring exhibition. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at their recent artworks, all stemming around this year's theme of even better than the real thing. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for tuning in. And to our Muslim viewers, selamat bersahur.